Night on KBC Channel 1.
They are lying. You do not understand. They are misleading you and using you as you are one of them. Now you are a Prince Ashok. Stop thinking like a common person.
Emperor, the physician whom you are looking for has disappeared in a very mysterious manner.
So you're here. I've been waiting for you.
Tonight on KBC Channel 1.
Oh, son.
Mother!
Oh, my darling. Are you okay?
Yes, Mom.
Did they hurt you?
A little bit, but I'm okay. Don't you worry, huh?
I thought I was never going to see you
No,
again.
Mom.
Why does it hurt so much to hear that Ramon was found? Francisco does not deserve any of this.
My love.
In love with Ramon.
Excuse me, who is this trying to call me with his gadget? Please, before you call me Professor Ouma, you should have a telecommunicative device. My friend, we professors, we do not walk, we locomote. We do not drive problem boxes, yani probox.
To get Professor, bonyeza star 811 star 759 hash. Dial star 811 star 759 hash.
A very good afternoon to you. We sure hope that you are keeping well. This is Channel 1 Lunchtime News. My name is Betty Kiptum. Thank you very much for making the time to join us. Now, we are following the latest in the education sector with matters schools reopening. Remember, the committee in charge of that was suggesting that the schools could open as soon as October, and we just want to see how far that is going. At Huruma Primary School is our reporter Irene Muchuma Odem. What is the latest and what is going on, Irene?
Kiptum, good afternoon. We are coming to you live from Uhuruma Primary School, and this is after several rounds. During the morning hours, we were able to visit several schools in the morning hours, including Huruma Estate and also a number of private schools, one of them being Ruaraka Academy. And we are just establishing what is happening now that the government asked teachers to reopen the schools and get prepared for it, and this will be done in phases. And here at Huruma Primary School, I'm informed that cleaning exercise took place during the morning hours. And right now, I'm being joined by one of the teachers to give us a brief on basically how did we conduct this exercise during the morning hours.
I'm Collins Milewa, and in the morning, we actually, with the help of the Kazi kwa Vijana, we made the arrangement, cleaning everywhere, and I think everything is in place.
Are we ready? Were we able to also plan for the social distancing when it comes to our classes, or from the meeting that you were able to conduct this morning? What were the resolutions?
I think that is on course, not only today. From 1 month ago, 2 months ago, we had been doing that, and I think that arrangement is being done. Most of the classes have been arranged to cater for the 1 meter distancing.
Are we looking at, are we ready to welcome the pupils back to school, or are we finding challenges that you think needs to be addressed before we reopen the schools?
Now, as you know, that is in the public domain today. Maybe we are waiting for the head of the state to say something, and I think we are prepared to hear what he's going to say, and we are prepared to go to his direction.
Well, Kiptum, that is just one of the sentiments that you're getting here from Huruma Primary School. Earlier on, we went to Ruaraka Academy. We were also able to visit Uhuru Estate, among other schools. But then there are those schools on the way that were closed and we were not allowed to get in. We would not say that they had not adhered to government directive to have the teachers back to school. Probably they conducted their meetings earlier on, just like other schools that we have visited, or they are intending to do that in the future. Remember, Kiptum, this is coming at a time that the National Parents Association welcomed the move by the government to urge teachers to get back to school in preparation of reopening of schools in phases, and proposals are that candidates come in first before other pupils and students get into these learning institutions. All this in an effort to curb COVID-19 spread in the country. Schools were closed in March this year, and pupils and students have stayed at home for more than 6 months. There were concerns of indiscipline cases back at home. And it is one of the reasons why parents were pushing to have the government allow pupils and students back to school, and also push for measures that will ensure there is no further spread of the virus, even as they prepare to get back to school. Kiptum.
Well, thank you very much, Irene Muchuma Odim. They're just giving us the latest from Huruma Primary on matters, plans on reopening schools. Of course, there are challenges on matters social distancing measures and how to ensure that the children, when they report back to school, can have a safe environment to learn, as well as just to live with one another. Of course, teachers were told by the ministry to report to school today to just see how schools are going to deal with those challenges. We now move to Matters Health, where the Kenyatta National Hospital staff, a strike is ongoing there. Let's just listen into a meeting on matters that strike.
Asante sana. Vile mwenzangu amesema, I want to take this opportunity to talk to the President. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Mwikai Uhuru Kenyatta, we beseech you as the workers of Kenyatta National Hospital to look into our plight and use your executive powers to alleviate this problem. Give the executive directive to Kenyatta National Hospital to effect payment. Your Excellency, you have those powers. We cannot have one institution within government believing that it is above all other institutions. Ministry of Health requested for the funding. Treasurer accepted, allocated the funding. Treasurer requested Parliament to approve the funding. Parliament approved the funding through the budget. After that approval, the money was brought to Kenyatta National Hospital to pay workers of Kenyatta National Hospital. Sivyo ama ni hivyo? Si ni hivyo? Kwa hivyo tunataka kuambia SRC, tuliwaambia tutaondoka na nyinyi mche mfanye kazi. Kwa nini hamjafika hapa? Kwa nini hamjafika hapa? Hiyo barua tunawaambia mambo ya job evaluation, hayo mwende mfanyie kwa miti au kwa maji au mbinguni. Sisi tunataka nini? Mambo ya job evaluation hatutaki. Mambo ya job evaluation hatutaki. Pesa hii ilishatolewa na serikali na ni lazima ilipwe wafanyakazi wa Kenyatta. Tumeelewana? Hii pesa ni lazima ilipwe hivi sasa, na kama sio sasa ni sasa hivi. Kwa hivyo naambia wale wako ndani ya serikali kwamba hii ni aibu kubwa kwamba mnaruhusu SRC ambayo yuko na watu.
That is Seth Panyako, KMPDU leader there, Secretary General, just speaking about the woes of the Kenyatta National Hospital staff. They're complaining, or rather they are striking over the pay that is yet to be given to them, as they say. Now we go back to matters education, where we are following up on the reopening of schools. Teachers had been directed to report back to their schools today. And in Kisumu, we'd like to talk to our reporter, Simon Achola, who is on the ground to just give us the latest on matters schools reopening. Achola, what's the latest?
Well, thank you very much indeed. We've been trailing what exactly is happening in schools across these regions. In the morning, we were actually with the Secretary General of the Kenya Private School Association, Engineer Charles Ochome, who was actually giving us details of exactly how prepared private schools are. And now, as I speak to you, we're actually in Kakamega County, and we've gone to one of the schools, one of the primary schools, public primary schools in this county, just to get to understand if they're well prepared as and when the president actually calls on the schools to reopen, if indeed they are actually well prepared in terms of accepting people back in their institution. One of the key issues that most of the school heads have actually been raising has been the fact that the infrastructure in most of these institutions are not up to date in terms of accepting people as and when they come back to school. And of course, they're also saying that it will take time for them to actually ensure that everything is in place so that then when people actually come back to the learning institution, they're actually safer and sound in terms of preparedness to avert the spread of COVID-19 in the learning institution. But as I speak to you right now, as I've already said, we actually at Msoli Mixed Primary School in Kakamega County, and of course we'll be talking to the administration of this institution so that then they can actually put us into perspective if indeed they're well prepared in terms of accepting people back as and when the government will be saying so. Karibu sana, madam. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
This is one of the public institutions in this region, and we understand that TSC has already told teachers to come back to the schools, and we are waiting the president to actually speak this afternoon, and we are not sure if he'll be saying that schools will be reopened or not. But looking at the infrastructure, looking at what is happening on the ground, are we prepared in terms of accepting the people's back?
Actually, Mrs. Beverly Mwange, the deputy head teacher of St. Thomas Aquinas, Msoli Mixed Primary. Actually, the preparedness is not really up to date. I want to say during the heavy rains early this year, most of our roofs went off because of the winds. Our toilets drowned, sank, I mean. So by now, even if we have to accommodate pupils back to school, we don't have the toilets. The teachers' toilets are 2. We have 2 doors. The doors are already eaten by the ants. Now, I'm not really getting the picture clearly as at how the pupils will come in when we don't have the essential facilities that are not in the school. Besides, water is now an issue. We only have 1 point, and the borehole that we normally get water from is not functional as at now. So the school has no water totally. We don't have water.
the government released some health protocols that are actually supposed to be adhered to. And of course, key among them was the wash points and other facilities that will ensure that we curb the spread of COVID-19 in primary schools. One constant factor in public institutions in this country has been congestion. And we are seeing the government saying that one of the key issues they're actually going to chip in is actually desks. Probably what other essentials are actually needed in public institutions?
As at now, if the children are to come back, we really need the chairs, and our classes are flooded. We have so many pupils. A class goes at around 45 pupils. I don't really understand how we shall get extra classes, because these children need to sit at that distance following the protocol. But our pupils are many. We don't have enough classes for them as at now. Because if we have to follow the protocol, it means we double the streams, which are not available as at now.
Apart from the buildings, what else? You've actually talked about the health amenities and of course the buildings. What else?
We are expecting, as we prepare for the children to come back, we are expecting to have masks that we've not seen as at now, because if the children are to come in soonest, then we should have these things in place, of which we don't have as at now. We need the sanitizers. As at now, we are in blackout. We've not seen anything to do with that. So we wonder how all the things will be acquired within the twinkling of an eye.
Thank you very much. That is the Deputy Headmaster of Msoli Mixed Primary School here in Kakamega County, painting a grim picture of exactly what is happening in public learning institutions in the country, and of course saying that she is not sure if indeed public learning institutions in the country are ready to accept black pupils in school, unless of course the government works towards ensuring they increase the number of buildings and other amenities that are actually needed in these institutions. Back to you in the studio.
Nachola there from Kisumu, just giving us the latest on matters schools reopening. Of course, that school concerned that the amenities there are not sufficient to sustain the students based on the big numbers, as well as the state of those toilets, as well as other hygiene facilities. Remember, there has been concern that the reopening of schools will have some issues, considering that most schools in the country are overcrowded, and that is definitely bearing a challenge for the Ministry of Education. We take a quick break here on Channel 1 Lunchtime News. We'll be back with more. Stay with us.
When the world changed, it made us go back to the simple joys and love the little things even more, like serving up your best, eating together, and sharing more. Now, we'll take nothing for granted, and always remember to taste the simple joys. Coca-Cola. Taste the simple joys.
Tonight on KBC Channel 1.
Make an offer before the family gets to her, especially that Wanjala.
Clever man.
Watu wote wameshtuka, hasa Wanjala. Kwa nini alienda huko?
You should accept that there's nothing for you there. There never was. Let it go.
He knows that what's in that safety deposit box is worth something.
2.5.
2.5. And tell him the offer is only valid for as long as you're on that table. I'm selling Connor to that nice man, Abasi.
Back, you are watching Channel 1 Lunchtime News. Now, schools in the northeastern region of the country are staring at a staffing crisis that is yet to be solved by the Teachers Service Commission 6 months after schools were shut down due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Hundreds of teachers relocated from the region before schools were closed down in March following incidents of insecurity targeting non-locals.
We told TAC, give us slots for locals. One, we don't have non-locals. TAC gave us numbers. We are unable to raise the numbers. Period. Am I right? Are we raising the numbers? So the problem is ours.
We must be serious, and if we do not build the capacity, if we do not have proper management and proper staffing, then we are doing nothing. We are wasting all the resources, we are wasting ourselves, and we will not get where we deserve to do as a country.
Moving on, the Ministry of Labour is looking for new strategies to address the unemployment crisis occasioned by the coronavirus pandemic. Labour Cabinet Secretary Simon Chelugui said the government is now thinking beyond borders, and with the launch of the National Employment Authority, Kenyans can secure employment opportunities overseas.
Even as the country waits for the reopening of the economy by President Uhuru Kenyatta following the spread of coronavirus, the Ministry of Labour has put in place strategies to address the unemployment crisis among young people. Labour Cabinet Secretary Simon Chelugui, who was speaking during a fundraiser in Naitili, Baringo County, said as a ministry, they launched National Employment Authority to secure for job overseas to enable the youth to access employment.
Kule nje, Wakenya wanahitajika sana. Our education system is so high. The level of education of our people is so high. Ukienda Dubai saa hii ukienda Dubai, kila hoteli inamilikiwa na Mkenya. Ukiingia uwanja wa ndege ni Wakenya kutoka mlango mpaka utoke, ambao wanaimudu na wanasimamia.
Chelugui said once restrictions against COVID-19 are lifted, the authority will swing into action to help the millions of unemployed youth.
Tutatafuta mbinu za kuwafungulia njia Wakenya wote. Tukipata nafasi kule Amerikani, kule Canada, Uchina na mambo yote, ili kila mtu ambaye amesoma na ameweka bidii asikae nyumbani ndio aanze kukunywa pombe.
Baringo Governor Stanley Kiptis, who was present, challenged the Minister of Education to be forthright on when schools can resume.
Wakati gavi imekuwa flatten na serikali wameona kweli ni siku ya leo ama imekaa namna hii, watatangazia sisi. Si kwamba nikiukiwa, hapana. Sinajua profesa ni profesa, si mtu ya kutapatapa. Sunasikia UK imerudi tena. Sunasikia inaenda ikirudi kufanya namna hii.
Suleiman Yeri, Channel 1 News.
On matters insecurity now, residents of Ruiru, Kiambu County are decrying the rising cases of insecurity in the region and are calling on relevant authorities to intervene. Ruiru legislator Simon Kingara, in the meantime, is urging border operators in the region to work closely with security agents so as to stem rising crime.
Residents of Ruiru, Kiambu County are a worried lot. The rising cases of insecurity are causing them sleepless nights. This even as Ruiru Member of Parliament Simon Kingara called on the border operators in the area to be vigilant so as to identify criminals who are operating under the guise of being genuine operators.
Lakini la muhimu ni kujua ndio hata wanabodaboda watabulike, ni vizuri hata wao wajitambue. Na wajue ile kazi wanafanya ni kazi ya maana, ni kazi ya heshima, ni kazi inatakiwa kuwa na utaratibu, ni kazi inatakiwa kuangalia usalama wa nchi kwa jumla.
Kingara, while lauding the operators for working with authorities to enhance surveillance in the region, He also assured them of their security while at their work.
Wawe na utaratibu na mikakati ya kuweza kujua adui, na ninajua kwa uhakika wakiketi chini wawe na huo utaratibu, maafa yale yanaonekana kutokana na watu wa bodaboda kuuawa au kuumizwa usiku itapungua.
He said that the construction of new police post in Mutuya area within Mwihoko ward and Katongoria area is underway so as to beef up security in the sub-county.
Mahali tumefika, tuko na mikakati ya kuendeza ama kikundi yetu iwe na usalama na iwe imesimama vizuri. Kwa hivyo tuko na mpango kuwa na vitu kama tuwe na car wash zetu, ambazo hizo car wash zaweza kusaidia vijana wengi tuwaandike, na wengine tukienda pale kwa car wash tunapata pesa.
Another police post in Githurai Mwiki is already complete and 20 police officers have already been deployed. The legislator was speaking after issuing a check of 100,000 shillings to Ruiru Boda Boda Association through his Nganga Kingara Foundation.
Itatusaidia tukipata hizo machine, itakuwa ina generate money. Kwa hivyo ni kama money generating program ndio tutakuwa tunaifanya ipoza tuweze kupata faida.
Timothy Kipnusu for Channel 1 News.
Now to a rather sad story, a family in Musiebi village, Matayos, Busia County, has been left in shock after the sudden demise of their kin who allegedly took his own life. The body of Raymond Baraza, a class 4 pupil at St. Jude Primary School, was found hanging from the ceiling of his bedroom. Raymond's distressed parents describe him as a humble boy and are at a loss as to what may have led him to commit such an act. Police are investigating the death.
Sasa tu vile mnapotea leo, mtu asitoke hapa. Kila mtu akae tu hapa kwa bomu. Sasa labda hiyo ndio ilikuwa shida, alikuwa anasikia uchungu, lakini hakuna kitu ambao aliongea na mama yake, hakuna kitu ambao ongea na ndugu yake. Ndugu yake ndiye amepata kama anining'inia. Ndio kwenda kukata ndugu yake mdogo, ndio kwenda kukata kamba. Tayari alikuwa kamba ilikuwa ishamfinya kabisa.
Hata mimi nilikuwa napika mboga. Nikasema wacha nioge mapema kama mvua bado. Sasa kwenda kuoga kurudi. Naingia kwa jikoni tena kusongesha moto yenye nimewacha. Huyu kadogo kanakuja kuniambia, mama nikwambie kwa fulani amejinyonga. Amejinyonga aje? Kuja nikupeleke. Tukaenda pa kwa nyumba kwa bedroom yao, huwa wanalala. Kamba imekatika, ameanguka chini.
Kweli nikija nyumbani nimepata tu mtoto amejiweka kamba na ameenda. Huyu mtoto ndio mtoto mkubwa wa huyu kijanangu. Na anakuanga mtoto mnyamafu, sio mtoto wa kuongea, mpole sana. Lakini sasa watoto wapole unashindwa kuelewa mtoto anafikiria nini ama ni nini mbaya. Ni kitu imetustajabisha. Sijawahi, mimi ni mzee sasa na sijawahi ona kitu kama hii.
Our condolences to the family. Now we move to Matters Health, where at KICC, a national conference is ongoing there on Matters the COVID-19 pandemic. The conference is set to unveil some containment measures and just how the country is going to move forward into the new normal, as well as just how the economy is going to be built again after the shock it went through when the COVID-19 pandemic hit. Our reporter Purity Museo is on the ground there. What is the latest, Purity?
A very good afternoon to you, Betty. We are indeed coming to you live from the Savo Ballroom right here at the Kenyatta International Convention Center. And as you can see behind me, the preparations already all is set actually for this very first national conference on the COVID-19 pandemic. And this conference is expected to be graced by His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta. And stakeholders are already here. And part of the reasons why the country is holding this conference is to to just chart the way forward and have some of the containment measures that will help the country or guide the country into the adapting to the new normal of the COVID-19 pandemic. So stakeholders are already here, and discussions on what ought to be adopted during this time, especially on the new containment measures, are here, and they include the education stakeholders, the health stakeholders, the business sector as well, because when we review the statement that was issued by the head of the public service, Joseph Kinyua, he had said that part of the reason that we are having this conference is to try to find some sustainable strategy on also with regard to the reviving the economy and the tourism sector. And we have already seen the Teacher Service Commission issuing guidelines on how schools should be reopened, and also directing teachers to go back to school beginning today, Monday the 28th. And of course the teachers are represented today, and of course Kenyans expecting a lot from this conference, and this conference will also be followed by the 12th presidential address on COVID-19. And recently, Betty, as you've seen, the Ministry of Health officials have been quoted saying that we are on a downward trajectory in regard to the COVID-19 infections in the country, and therefore claims that the curve is flattening. And we are also seeing the health officials or the health practitioners saying that the country should not be guided by the low number of cases that are being reported every day, because they attribute to the lower testing capacity that we have in the country, and therefore it's a wait and see whether the president is going, or what some of these new containment measures that we are going to be adapting moving forward. And this one is a conference that is charting the way forward for this country. So the head of state will be speaking, and of course we've also seen Deputy President will also be here, former Prime Minister Raila Odinga will also be here, and also the ministers from different sectors. Most of the cabinet secretaries have already arrived, including the ICT CS, they are already here, and so we'll be keen to just note what are some of the suggestions. Remember, these are suggestions. The health CS Mutahi Kagwe, Betty, is also expected to hand over a COVID-19 emergency committee report, and these will include some of the suggestions that the committee is suggesting should be adopted moving forward. That is from tomorrow, when the head of state is now supposed to or expected to give his final stand on the new containment measures that will push this country forward with the new normal. And Betty, with the reopening of the economy, the country has already opened its airspace for a number of countries, including countries like United States of America, which have quite a high number of COVID-19 cases, and questions why that African countries have not been hardly hit by this virus. Still scientists trying to find answers for these questions. And of course, as we speak, the country has about 38,000 cases of COVID-19, and 691 people have succumbed to COVID-19, and this is actually 1.1% fatality rate, and we have about 64% recovery rate of COVID-19. So owing to all these factors, and of course there will be suggestions from different people, including teachers. Remember the debate on the opening of schools, and the CS is yet to announce the date for the reopening of schools. But as we can see, the teachers were able to report back to schools today to prepare according to the guidelines given by the TSC. Then it's a wait and see when schools will be reopening, and whether the head of state will be lifting these containment measures. Remember, we started in March, when the country went into a curfew. That was a dusk to dawn curfew, and then later on, months later, we saw the head of state trying to ease some of these restrictions, including extending the curfew, yes, but now the timelines were 9 p.m. to 5 p.m. We also saw the social distancing issues being emphasized, and some of the places were opened, including places of worship, but under restrictions. But entertainment joints continue to be closed, and the economy is hurting, as people are saying. And even as the world was celebrating the World Tourism Day, of course, we had the tourism stakeholders saying that something ought to be done done to bring the tourism sector back to on its feet. So these are some of the issues that will be discussed tonight, and they will be given an opportunity, Betty, to speak and try to come up with suggestions what should be adopted in all the sectors. So we'll be seeing whether what the stakeholders have been talking about and the committees that have been formed, what they are coming up with, and finally hear from the head of state on what exactly is going to adopt moving forward, Betty. So that is it, and this conference is about to begin at around 1:30. It's almost beginning, and therefore we'll be coming to you live from the KICC. It's back to you for now, and we'll of course be updating you on what it transpires right here at the KICC. Betty and Purity Museo, it's back to you.
So there from the KICC, following up on that conference, the COVID-19 pandemic conference that is set to unveil a number of containment measures that will guide the country into the new normal as well as economic recovery. Museo says that, of course, this conference will determine what, or rather will inform what the president will tell the country in his State of the Nation address that is going to happen tomorrow, as well as that COVID-19 emergency committee report that is set to be handed over to him by the Health CS Mutahi Kagwe. That will be coming to you live here on Channel 1 just after this news. But now let's do the business news. The National Irrigation Authority is constructing and rehabilitating water ponds and large-scale irrigation projects in Kajiado County under the expanded National Irrigation Program. The authority's Lower Eastern Region Coordinator, Rafael Mutiso, says 10 water ponds being constructed will each have a capacity of 100,000 cubic meters and will support production of tomatoes, onions, and maize.
In its medium-term transformative agenda, the National Irrigation Authority plans to construct 125,000 household water ponds and 400 community water ponds across the country. This is in a bid to boost farming activities in the country. In Kajiado County, the authority is scaling up irrigation activities by constructing 10 additional water ponds across the vast arid and semi-arid area.
Distributed these particular projects in all the constituencies of the county. So far, the current projects that are ongoing are around 10 of these particular magnitudes.
This is in addition to the already 548 household water ponds that collectively hold 325,000 cubic meters with a potential to put 260 acres of farmland under irrigation.
By the end of the season, or before we go to the rain season, we are likely to harvest as much water as possible, around 1 million meter cubed of water.
The irrigation projects are expected to support production of onions, tomatoes and maize.
Mapato ambayo hatukuwa naye ya kilimo tumeweza ipata. Hata unaona nyanya ambaye ziko hapa imeweza kutusaidia kwa hali na mali ya katika area hii ya Isinet Kalesirwa.
Farmers have been urged to tap into the irrigation projects to prop up income from pastoral activities.
And that is why we want to keep on encouraging farmers to adopt this system, because you'll be able to plant your crops all season, whether it's dry or wet, as long as the establishment that we've put in place has harvested water.
Construction of water ponds is part of irrigation projects initiated by the National Irrigation Authority in areas that include 2 large-scale irrigation projects in Entararara and in Sinet, covering a combined 1,150 acres. Benson Rioba reporting for Channel 1 Business.
The sports news. Football Kenya Federation FKF has been urged to reconsider its decision and renew Kenya Premier League Limited mandate to run the top league. FKF Nairobi NEC member hopeful Tom Alila said that FKF may lack the capacity to manage the top-tier league. He also called on the FKF Electoral Board to investigate claims of voter intimidation and bribery ahead of the national FKF elections. Alila has further said that he will take the matter back to Sports Dispute Tribunal should the board fail to act and calm the impending election stalemate. National FKF elections are set to be held on the 17th of next month here in Nairobi.
so that if there's a problem, you can be able to point out that the problem came from this other side. So I support strongly FK Kenya Premier League contract being extended, but under FKF.
That's all we had for you here on Channel 1 Lunchtime News. Many thanks for keeping us company, and do stand by for that live update from the KICC conference on COVID-19 pandemic. I'm Betty Kiptum. Lensa Odingo has been my colleague on the sign language interpretation. Have yourself a lovely afternoon.
Vera Beauty College. Vera Beauty and Fashion College, with branches in Nairobi, Eldoret, Thika and Meru. Did you know that we are a TVET approved institution? We offer courses in fashion design, interior design in soft furnishing, event decoration, flower arrangement, event planning, hairdressing, barbering and dreadlocks, beauty therapy, makeup, nail technology, spa massages, teaching skills, TOT, solo business management, and many more. Register now and visit our website on www.verabeautycollege.com. You can also call on 0725 923 550 Nairobi branch, 0728 087 689 Eldoret branch, 0722 227428 Thika branch, 0725 000-706 Meru branch. Vera Beauty and Fashion College, a TVET approved institution.
KBC, in collaboration with the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development, is broadcasting enhanced out-of-class learning on radio, television and online. Catch the lessons every weekday on KBC Channel 1 from 2 to 4 p.m, on KBC English Service and 15 FM from 9:15 a.m. to 5 p.m, and Radio Taifa from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. KBC English Service, Radio Taifa and 15 FM are also available countrywide on the free-to-air Signet digital TV platform, or log on to www.kbc.co.ke for live streaming, or download the KBC Online app on Google Play Store. Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, ensuring learning no matter what.
Say all kind of things about you.
We them on, just shake up. Need to mush you and done to mush you. When your booty got show me now.
Baby, one time, bossy baby, give me 2 times. Full 180, crazy.
Trago ya la botella. Let's go. Ha. I needed some with some bop in it.
Mamacita, where you at? I've been trying to reach you.
Choro, 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 choro. Te pago, te pago, mo, te pago.
Katoto shepu awe, ayawe, ayawe.
Pequeña katoto, camini pequeña, pequeña katoto.
They are a sight to behold, with their perfectly chiseled physique that guys crave for and girls drool over. But it was not just acquired on a silver plate, nor was it built in a day, as Mickey Ragos, formerly known as Michael Sanya, narrates as he recalls the days when he ruled the screens, the airwaves, as the Kenya bodybuilding champion for more than a decade.
When I look back, to me I feel I'm okay. I cannot say that I'm disappointed. No, I'm okay. I'm doing okay. I worked, then I opened this small gym here. Then another gym I opened in my rural home, which is Busia. I opened another small gym there. So to me, I'm okay.
He tried to build a career in football like many of his buddies, but it didn't come to pass.
I also played football when I was in St. Peters. I was a goalkeeper. But what really made me hate football, we were in a city stadium playing. By then it was Maragoli and the Luya Football Club. Madegwa hit a ball and I grabbed the ball very nicely. Then he tried to take the ball from me. He jumped up and he stepped me on my wrist here. I have a mark up now. My arm swelled so bad. And those people, they don't even care about me. And from that day, I hated the football.
He was destined for a different sport, and that's how he found his way in bodybuilding.
I was born in Muturwa. That's one of the railway quarters in Nairobi. I was born, and then we moved to Makongeni, so we started lifting stones with my friends. By then, things were very few in Nairobi, and young boys in the estates just take blocks, we make holes between, we put the pipe, then we start lifting.
No sweat, no gain. He was later to find out as he was thrust fully into the art.
One day I was walking along the river road. Then a certain Mwindi had a gym, the universal gym. In Nairobi by then we had only two gyms. Two were in River Road, and another one was in Moi Avenue. So specifically only for white people only, Mzungu peke yao. Then this guy saw me. He called me and said, you lift weights. I told him that I don't lift weights, we only lift bricks. Yeah? So he took me upstairs to his gym. Then he really showed me a real gym, which I have never seen in my life.
That was the beginning of better things to come as he put his energy into it.
I was training, so going to school, then I come in the evening, then I go and train, then I go back home, like that. Then they held a competition with Mr. Kenya. Then I could see big stars. Like Charles Ndirangu was in Mr. Africa by then. He was in Mr. Kenya by then. So the competition started. So when the winner was announced, in heavyweight class, I was placed number 5.
Mickey Ragos later worked his way to the national title to remain the unbeaten Mr. Kenya for 15 years.
When people call me Mr. Kenya, I know not just Mr. Kenya, I was given on a plate. I was working hard to get it. Because if you compete and defeat people and you become the winner, you're bound to be happy.
What made him stand out for such a long period of time?
I had my secret weapon. My secret weapon is, after the competition, next day I was in the gym. When people are roaming around, going to the nightclub drinking, I was in the gym training. So when the calendar of the competition comes, they never announce. When people start now preparing for that, I have already. I'm always ready.
Apart from the workout efforts, one must lose fat and dehydrate, so a good diet is equally important.
I eat a lot. Don't cheat you. Because with the bodybuilding, you have to eat. If you don't eat, forget about getting a good body. Yeah? Me, I always used to say some kideri, kisinyoyo. Yeah? I eat that very much. Omena, yeah? Chapati, the maragwe. That's what I normally eat very much. Meat, not so much. Vegetables, I eat very much. And fruits.
Mickey Ragos went on to become a regular participant in the World Bodybuilding Championship like this one in Egypt, and he managed a 7th placing in Japan.
The first time I went to a competition, it was in Egypt. That was my first competition. Our first competition we were 6 people because they took each category one person. So we went there. My dear, those guys are big. So big like houses, I'm telling you. You find a person so huge. And I told my friend, are we going to compete against these guys? Yeah? We're just done. When you stand in front of him, you look as if you have never even done anything in the gym. They were so big. Okay, we got disappointed. But at the end of the day, they told us, oh, these people are using drugs. All of them. In Japan, that's the first time they had drug tests. And we were very happy. About it. You know how many people were eliminated in that competition? So many. In our categories, we were about 110 people. We remain only 8. And among those 8, I was number 7.
Mr. Carnival was later introduced with better rewards, where he always carried the day before he called it a day.
I added 3 Mr. Carnival. The first Mr. Carnival, I won. The second Mr. Carnival, I won again. The judges were different. And they bring another, the third Mr. Carnival, they bring another judges. I won again after competing that Mr. Carnival 3 years in a row. I told, that's on the stage, enough is enough. I have won Mr. Kenya for a long time. I won Mr. Robbie for a long time. Mr. Robbie for 3 times enough. That's enough for me now. Now I'm retiring from competition.
The former Mr. Kenya in the bodybuilding fraternity may have symbolized larger-than-life characters as they crisscross the country and beyond as they build their brands, but it didn't translate the same way pocket-wise.
People say maybe Mickey Ragos has been training this much, as winning this competition. He's very rich. I've been winning a lot of money. Nothing. The only money I got when I was competing in Carnival, and that in Mr. Kenya, that was given by my boss, 20,000. And the money I won in Carnival is 6,000 shillings.
He also laments the use of anabolic steroids, which the sport came to be associated with during the days of, among others, Arnold Schwarzenegger, who commanded such a following that led to the rise of the so-called monsters.
That is the thing I hate in my life. I went to a competition in Germany. There was a guy called Mr. Lee Honey. He told me, Mickey, I have come to win. And you will see I'm going to win. I have trained only for five years. I told him 5 years. And I've been training for the last 20 years. How come you're going to win? He told me, you have to use drugs, steroids. To make your muscle grow, you have to use. I told him, I rather remain Mr. Robbie or Mr. Kenya to come and win Mr. Universe and using drugs. I know those drugs, they have good side effects.
The former Mr. Kenya urges the upcoming generation to avoid such desperate measures, which sometimes can be fatal.
Drugs kills. I'll give you an example. We had a certain guy who came to train here. This boy was a young man. He trained here for 3 months. Then he was training with my son, Fred Baraza, who is in States now. Baraza was lifting more weights. Say, how come he lifting more weight than me? Somebody, you have just started. Start slowly by slowly, you reach there. He left this place, he went to another gym. I don't know which gym he went. I saw him within 3 months. This guy was like a house. I told him, mister, what have you been using? What have you been using? So I'm just lifting weights. No. You are taking something wrong. And what you are taking, stop it. If you don't stop it, you have a problem. Then he came here. Everybody was surprised. The weight he was lifting. I found this guy was using drugs. Within 3 months, the guy was dead.
At 70 years of age and counting, he has still managed to maintain his physique as he nurtures more talent in Busia and Dandora in Nairobi, where he spends a lot of time maintaining his fitness levels as well.
You know, when you're young, you are very active. Your metabolism is very hard. You burn calories because you run, you walk. But by the time you reach 50, it starts slowing down. That's the time a person should start training.
His 4 sons are Fred, who is based in the USA, Ken, Francis, Arnold Sanya, and even his grandson Jack Aswan have followed in his footsteps and never shy away from challenging him as he takes a pride in their upbringing.
My children are really disciplined. And when they started training, say, okay, you can start training, no problem. Like Fred now is in America. He's doing well. I've got another son who was here right now. He's training.
I've grown up looking at him as my role model. He has always inspired me. Nimejaribu kufanya very many things, lakini hizi roots zake tu ndio naweza fuata mimi. Nguvu ametupatia na ile chakula pia alikuwa anatuprovide pia mtaani imetusaidia sana.
So for those who think bodybuilders cannot father children, think again.
Even my mother told me, you have to stop these things because I want grandchildren. Tell my mother, what's wrong with you? Yeah? These things are not affecting me. It's only affecting my muscle, nothing else. You stop. Okay. I stopped competing, then I married. 1971. As I got married. Then after a year, I got twins. I told my mother, now you say bodybuilding will make me not have children. Why do I have twins?
Mickey Rago's determination to help the youth realize their potential recently saw him being given the Dandora Sports Legend 2016 award, which the youth take pride in.
Walikuwa na event hapa Dandora. Ilikuwa inaitwa Sports Legend katika Dandora. Na kulikuwa sportsmen wote wale wamefanya boxing, football, wala promote sports katika Dandora area. Nilipata walikuwa wameweka kura, unapigiwa kura na watu. Sasa mimi nilipata votes nyingi sana na nikawini ya award.
Kama wale wamekaa idol wenyewe wakikaa mjim, at least wakitrain inawatoa nje, kuna opportunities zinapatikana za job za kuenda nje. Zikipatikana wanaenda wanafanya, but wakiwa hapa wenyewe wakiwa idol unapata wenyewe wangekuwa watu wabaya. Chuma wanakitrain na wasaidia. Na pia hapa hivi pia majob ziko. Wale wana train, mwili kikuja wenyewe utakosa kazi hapa town.
And that is the beauty of bodybuilding. Behind the proportional skeletal structure you all dream about, behind the poses you all watch in awe, and behind the power you all crave for is an inner beauty which can only be acquired through
train hard, to be disciplined in the gym, to avoid alcohol, also drugs, avoid those things, and then you can make it.
Na msibabaishwe na yale mnayowapitia, hata yawe magumu kiasi gani, yote yatapita. La msingi ni